Welcome to the Dome, into the Dome for the Week 9 NFL podcast. You have your host here, Rao. Just kidding. We're going with names now. Fuck these pen names. You got Sherrick and we got Sean. How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Crushing some beers, watching some NBA. And I got my dog as a third member of the pod tonight, running around. How about you?
Who are you watching, by the way, tonight?
Well, we got the Raptors Mavs right now, but it's pretty much out of hand. We actually got an Into the Dome member at this game, and the Mavericks are going to lose again.
Oh, is that why JQH could not join the podcast tonight?
Jim couldn't join us tonight because of this game.
Yeah, and Mavs, I assume, are winning at home, or are they getting beat? Which would be
They're losing to the undefeated Raptors.
By how much?
It's 11 points with a minute left.
Oh, shit. That sucks.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah. Mavs are not very good this year.
They are not. They got Parsons back tonight, and they still suck.
I still think that they go over that line. I a little aside, I know this is an NFL podcast, but I do think they go over that like 35 or 36 that they were at, or maybe even 38.
All three of us took the over.
When's the last time the Mavericks haven't been 500 and made the playoffs? I mean, it's been years.
Right? Under Cuban, they've never had a losing record.
He'll make something happen. I don't know what it is, but he'll make something happen. And
I could see a trade, even I don't really know what they have to trade. They could trade, and then, I don't know, but Dirk just doesn't really look too Dirk. Like, Darren looks good. Raymond Felton looks fat, but he's, like, producing. So I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. They suck. I mean, it's the West. It's just too hard.
I guess 40 wins out West is pretty solid, to be honest with you. But
honestly, I think they just put in the Mexican national into the game. Possibly the first since Eduardo Nájera. I think that means we can move on from the NBA.
You remember how crazy is that? The Mexican national, like, no Mexican nationals ever play in the NBA.
It's crazy.
It really is. It's one of the weirdest things because they're so close.
There's an Indian in the NBA. Well, there was, just because the Indian owner. Simbulhar.
Yeah.
That dude's terrible.
Yeah, he's not very good at all. No, he's not.
Are there any Mexicans in the NFL?
Oh, yeah. Well, at least I don't know about Mexican nationals, but there's a lot of Mexicans in the NFL as far, I mean, that play. Yeah, there are. There's a lot of people of Mexican descent.
Oh, Mark Sanchez.
All right, there's one.
There's one, yeah. And, wait, was he the one who goes into hotels and says his name is Ron Mexican?
I don't know. I don't know that story, but does he really?
Whoa. You don't know wait, hold on. Let me look into this. Who was that? I don't remember. Someone used to go into hotel rooms and say their name was Ron Mexico, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of players of Hispanic descent in the NFL. Honestly, I think there's a lot more than you think. You start looking through rosters, there's a lot more than you think. I bet there's probably. This is completely off.
I'm cutting you off. I found Ron Mexico. Oh. I can't believe I forgot who it was. The fucking man, a big fan of the podcast, Michael Vick, used to check into hotels as Ron Mexico.
Oh, Dog Killer did.
Dog Killer.
Wow, dude, Dog Pound, hashtag.
That's a hell of a name to go into a hotel with, too. Especially when, you're Ron Mexico. When you're Michael Vick, I feel people are like, your name is not Ron Mexico.
They're like, wait, by the way, you're Mike Vick, bro. And I think there's something worth talking about with Mike Vick real quick.
So I've always got time for the Dog Killer.
Dude. At one point in my life, I always thought the best thing ever would be to just have Mike Vick in a dome, right? Like one of those domes where you just put him through like agility test, 40-yard dash, throwing a baseball, hitting a baseball, jumping. Like that guy was arguably the best athlete we've ever seen. I mean, at one point in his life, he was unbelievable, right?
I mean, he's really fast. He's really athletic, and he can throw the ball far. But I don't know if Oh, can he hit a baseball? I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. It's not like Bo Jackson.
No, I know he's not, but he would do some crazy stuff. I think if you put him into a room for, jumping, running, throwing, I think it'd be fun to watch.
Wouldn't that apply to pretty much like most of the NFL?
Yeah, and probably the NBA too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys in the NBA you could be like, well, that would be.
I'd like to see Russell Westbrook like ride a horse or race a horse.
Is there anything Russell couldn't do?
I can't really think of anything. He's crazy enough that I think it wouldn't matter. Like he's one of those guys who's like, you can't do this. And it's like, all right, he's the best hockey player there ever was.
Dude, could you imagine him running like sweeps out of a backfield in the NFL?
Oh my god. I just think like his first two steps would make linebackers fall over.
No, I agree, and I think people forget how big he's still like 200 pounds, right? Everyone thinks he's thin, right? But he's like still a 200-pound dude.
Well, and also like imagine if he was like in the NFL where he's like not instead of running long. Because NBA almost turns into like a long distance type soccer running thing. Like in football, you could just like pack on weight, and it's like you run and then you rest. And right now he's 6'3", 200. He could be like 6'3", 220.
Yeah, I think this actually is a good segue into something else that's very interesting that we talked about on our stream at one point. Is the
oh man
Snow Day commercial, right? So
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen the Snow Day commercial?
No, everyone's talking about it. I'm like, oh, I keep meaning to watch that, and I haven't seen it. So I mean, this is good radio right here.
Oh, it's
Tell me what happened.
All right, so Gronk. It starts off with Gronk waking up, and he busts his head through a window. and he looks out.
Always a good start. Anything with Gronk and anything with Gronk doing something weird.
Yeah, and he busts his head through a window and breaks the window, obviously, head through it, and he says Snow Day. And then he gets ready, they show him getting dressed, and then he walks outside and he gets hit by a snowball from Ndamukong Suh. And they look at each other and go, Snow Day, or something like that. I mean, I'm butchering it, but that's roughly what happens. And then Gronk is walking through this town that's on a snow day, and all these players are coming to follow him. I think it's like Ben Roethlisberger, Paul George, Odell Beckham Jr., Luke Kuechly. I mean, as we all know, there's like 23 stars. I can't name them all.
Okay.
And then they end up hitting the field. And if you haven't seen it, and we don't have the manuscript in front of us, we can't go into too much depth. But they end up having like these. It starts off all NFL, and then it goes slightly into other sports. Paul George, I think, is the first non-NFL player. And then they end up meeting, and it's like a pickup game on Snow Day, right? And Sue has got the other squad, and they show up, and Sue hops over the fence. And he's like the bad guy, and then his team busts through the fence, and he's got a hockey guy who's just been laying in the snow for, I don't know, 5 years, whatever it is. He's just laying in the snow, and then he's got there's all these girls there too, not girls like that, but like professional athletes that are women, and it's funny because
they're people too.
No, it finishes off with they look at each other and Gronk goes touch, Sue goes tackle, and then they kick it off, right? But I was gonna say it would be a good conversation to have because on our text stream we said who would be the best receiver on Gronk's team, and Gronk, by the way, has Gronk and Odell Beckham, and one of our members of the stream, soon to be of the podcast, said Paul George. And I don't doubt him, obviously.
I don't doubt that either.
Paul George would be unbelievable as a receiver in the NFL. But it's a really cool commercial. Anyone who hasn't seen it should go YouTube it, and it's just really, really fun to watch.
Well, I got it queued up to watch right after this because I can't believe I hadn't seen it. I'm going to take Elena Deladane though as best receiver. Because why not? She's huge.
I don't even know who that is, but
she's like the leading scorer in the WNBA or something. She's pretty awesome though. She's actually oh my god, I can't believe we're talking about WNBA right now. Yeah, if I've ever seen anything on WNBA, it was like cool, like her or that other one from Connecticut, Tarasi.
Dude,
I've listened to way too much Zach Lowe. That dude loves that WNBA.
He does, really? Wait, by the way, how about Grant?
He's only a fan of one team, and it's Connecticut women's basketball. It's so weird. Yeah, but I respect him. He knows basketball better than like anyone.
Yeah, that guy does know basketball. How about Grantland getting dissolved? While we're on random topics before we jump in the NFL.
Just looks like, more visitors into the dome.
I know. I heard Bill was tweeting us, but I don't know if that was true.
I mean, pretty much. I just saw him say, like, hey, check out this awesome website. I think the link was probably broken or something. But, I mean, our viewership hasn't shown. I'm looking at the analytics, and they're not what, you expect after the drop of Grantland. But I saw, like, a peak. I think we went from, like, 25 viewers to, like, 27 that day. So, pretty big jump.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We will. You got to start somewhere.
And we'll start at the fact that we suck at picking games this year as a group. Oh, man. Highest against the spread is 53%. That is myself. I maintained a lead after going 6-7-1 against the spread. The big news this week, though, is Jim. JQH, after just being the bottom and the brunt of all jokes, he went 11-2-1 this week. That is crazy.
See, that's what happens when you pick half your games as the Beebs. I mean, the Beeb is just knows what's going on. He's better at life than us.
Oh, gosh. I mean, the guy now he's going to want to do video picks every week. He's going to dress up every week just to keep, the rhythm going. What did you dress up for Halloween as?
Funny thing is, I hosted a Halloween party. Everyone that attended dressed it up, except for my boy, Chris Griffith. Although he had a costume, but yeah, everyone else dressed up. I didn't. I hosted a party and I didn't dress up.
That's pretty weak.
It is weak, dude.
So, goes back. The stream we talked about, some people hate Halloween. No one's like forcing anyone to do anything. Like, you held a party, you didn't dress up. My guess is you had a great fucking time. I didn't dress up. I had a great fucking time. But then I did dress up.
You dressed up as like Taco from the league.
That was after getting really drunk. So I was excited. I thought I was gonna get like trick or treaters this year. I'm like, I got a little neighborhood now. I'm on like the fringe of it near a street, so I could see like, oh, we'll probably get the tail end of some trick or treaters or something like that. I thought we'd get a few kids. We got one kid, and you know what? This one kid was like 15, fat, and had a stupid costume on that I couldn't tell what it was. Like, he was just getting candy, and I felt used, but I gave him a shit ton because no one else came.
Yeah, see,
I'm eating candy constantly.
We got a lot of candy. It was so we live in a very family friendly neighborhood, and we were playing cornhole in the front. And the next morning we woke up, right, and there was a couple of beer bottles in the front yard from the cornhole game, and I was like, well, it's not a good look considering the neighborhood I live in is very family friendly. And we got a ton of trick or treaters, and we had a party going on. It was kind of fun. It was absolutely
really cool.
Yeah, it was honestly really a fun time. So, yeah, I don't like Halloween for whatever reason. I don't like dressing up. I don't like being forced to dress up. But
how often do you throw parties?
Well, I don't know. We like throwing parties. My wife and I really enjoy.
My wife.
It was a good time, and it makes us want to have more parties. So
see, that's the thing. I'm not against any day that's like, oh, let's just have a party that day. Especially if some people dress up. I'm guessing some people are good ones. And like you hosted and you didn't even dressed up. That sounds incredible. All right.
Yeah, it was really cool. Honestly, it was a really good time.
Well, just to go with a little cliche here, I got a trick or treat question for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The Colts are I mean, for one, now they're actually tied with the Texans for the division.
Yeah.
Last week we were pretty confident that they're still going to make it. I'm not. I don't see the Texans. The Titans just fired their coach today, so I don't know. Maybe they'll turn something around. They're done. But the Colts, what do you think? Could they make a playoff run?
Well, I think they're going to make the playoffs.
But that's it, right?
I think it's pretty. I think we can. I brought this up in an earlier cast, not an earlier podcast, but an earlier write-up, that I think the AFC South, right? That
Yeah.
the Colts and they're all in.
Yeah. And I'm completely basing it on that second half, by the way, against the Panthers, who we'll get to in a little bit.
Right. But I think that the AFC South is going to be the worst division in NFL history. I mean, I kind of made a
worse
comparison.
than the NFC South last year?
Yes, I do. I mean, I made a note of it earlier, and things have not gotten better. I mean, since then, the Texans gotten blown out. They end up winning a game, and
against the AFC South team.
Yeah, against AFC South team. The Colts ended up getting blown out. They haven't won a game since that write-up I made. I mean, that division is in shambles, right? Worst division that I think we've ever seen. I mean, they don't have anyone who's good there. I do think the Colts make it, and you know what? I wouldn't want to see the Colts if Luck gets healthy in the playoffs because they still have a lot of weapons. And as he showed late, he was really bad at one point in that game yesterday. He was really, really bad.
He is on his pace for 25 picks this year in 10 games.
No, I know. Well, the thing is, he hurt himself. He's hurt. He's
hurt. His line's terrible.
You saw the one pick he threw. They showed the one pick, and Gruden was like, I don't know. And Gruden loves Luck. I don't know if you guys all know. I watched the Gruden camp, and Andrew Luck is Gruden's one of Gruden's favorite players. And he goes, if Andrew Luck is not injured, then I don't know what's wrong with him. And if you watch it, I think it's T.Y. Hilton. I might be wrong on who was running the route, but someone's running a crossing route going to Luck's left, right? Luck throws it 5 feet above him and 10 feet behind him, and he gets picked. And Gruden was just like, dude, this guy is just not right. This is not the Andrew Luck I know. I don't know what's going on. And I agree with that. But then after that, he came back and he was absolutely on fire. He was.
I mean, I stopped watching and all of a sudden I just started getting texts that there was something going down. Because I was watching the Clipper game at that point. All of a sudden I had to switch back. And that last drive, it's like watching a whole different quarterback again. Well, I mean, whole different quarterback as in the guy seen at Stanford in the first few years in the league. The guy threw 40 touchdown passes last year.
Well, that's what Gruden said. Gruden goes, this guy's the legitimate all-pro. You're not talking about, just some Joe Schmo off the league. We were talking about him as a top 4 quarterback in the NFL, and everyone was pretty much convinced of it, right? And he had 40 yards through 3.5 quarters. Mind you, the first two, maybe 2.5 quarters was played in the pouring rain where they couldn't even hold on to the ball. I mean, Greg Olsen dropped the ball that was literally right in his hands. Cam was not good either. But Luck then started throwing these under routes. Then he started throwing over route. He started looking very good. And I think he's back. But
I don't know about back. I mean, it's not like he'd unless he got a pain injection at halftime. I think it's just going to be a rough year for him. And they're going to spend money on 1 or 2 linemen. You would hope. I mean, just you look at, DFWT, don't fuck with Tom. It's as long as Brady isn't being touched, which with how quickly he makes decisions and all that, he's not going to, you're not going to beat that team. And I feel that Luck can get to a status like that. And he can run. He's actually probably more like Rodgers. He can run when needed, by the way, not run.
No, but he can run. I mean, you ever look at his stats in the combine? He ran a 4.65. He broad jumped, almost I might be wrong here. I might be throwing things in my ass, but I think he broad jumped like almost 11 feet, and the guy had like a 38-inch vert or something like that. I mean, he's a really good athlete, and as we all know, he's not afraid if he throws a pick to try to lay the hat on someone. But
I mean, he throws so many damn picks, and that's not even this year. Like he's always had problems turning the ball over, but he throws 40 touchdown passes. It doesn't matter. So, but I don't
they're
know.
a different team. They're a different team this year. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I still believe that if they make the playoffs and they get right and he's healthy and he's feeling good, I don't want to see them in the playoffs. Um,
I
but
mean, they're not
I
going to be good, even no matter.
they're going to make the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah, they'll make the
and
playoffs. He jumped 10.3 feet broad jump, by the way.
which is
Actually, it's pretty impressive.
yeah,
4.67, 36-inch vert, 10.3 foot broad jump. Wow.
how much does he weigh? 240 pounds. I mean, the guy's a
He was 234 at the combine, so yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's an unbelievable athlete, right?
Wow.
Um, yeah. So I mean, Luck. He's
Well, I mean, we're like basically we didn't change our opinion on Luck, and he's possibly back, which would be good to see because that division is terrible, and I'd like them to win by at least like 2 or 3 games. Like, don't make it be like at the end of the season they win just at the end by a tiebreak or some bullshit.
yeah. Again, though, that division really is the clearly the worst division in the
Yeah,
NFL.
let's get out of there. Let's get out of there. Let's go to a good
Yeah.
division.
All right, let's talk about it.
You and I have been very high in the Seahawks, both ranking like top 5 week in, week out.
Yeah.
They're out for me. They're not making the playoffs. And part of that schedule, they're behind right now, like in games, and their schedule's not good, and their line is fucking horrible.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, I mean, oh, man, I've been waiting and waiting. I thought like you can explain, 4 or 5 bad games, but them,
This is halfway through the season.
no, and they barely beat the Cowboys with Matt Castle playing. I thought that was going to be like a 20-point game, honestly.
I keep waiting for them to have it, like as you would typically coin the FU week, and wow, not even close.
No, they haven't. No, and you know what? It's still one. God, it's hard for me because I've been so on them all year. But at some point, you have to jump ship at least a little bit. At least like I'm getting my foot in the water right now, where I'm like, wait, these guys literally can't. They scored. What they scored 13 points or 16
13
points
points.
against the Cowboys.
It was 13-12.
Yeah. Now the Cowboys defense is good, mind you.
What?
The Cowboys D is good, dude. Greg Hardy's like one of the top 5 defensive players probably in the whole NFL.
Yeah, and he single-handedly made an incredible play in that game, but
No,
that's one guy.
No, I know, but that defense is good. That's the only reason the Cowboys have been in games. I mean, the Cowboys don't have anyone on offense. They don't have a good quarterback. If the Cowboys had Romo back, I'd be feeling pretty good if I was Dallas, right? That's a good team. But, man, I would have liked to see them win that game like 24-12. I would have felt pretty good about it. But for them to score 13, and it came down to the wire. I mean, that game came down to literally last possession of that game for them to win. That's pretty disheartening. Um, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to figure it out. I don't know what their deal is. They keep winning games, they keep staying in it. Again, I wouldn't be surprised. I still wouldn't be surprised if they were in the Super Bowl, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they don't make the playoffs at this point. And it's a vast difference from last week where I was like, oh, I'd be really surprised if they don't make the playoffs. But you know what? After watching them against Dallas and just their inability to score is really disheartening. Their defense hasn't changed much at all because their defense is still pretty damn good. I mean, they allowed 12 points against Dallas, who's not a terrible team with Dez back. And wow, at some point I have to be a realist. I can't just blindly follow them to my grave. And it was just weird. It's just weird that they can't score. For whatever reason, Marshawn Lynch, like how stupid was that play that Marshawn Lynch did, where he went out of bounds, and if he hadn't gone out of bounds, they would have won the game without giving the ball back. Or not. I don't know if they gave the ball back, but they would have ran the clock out. But he went out of bounds. It was just weird. They just they're not right this year. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but something is wrong with them. And then I feel stupid because I've been so on them all year, but at some point I have to be honest, and they're just not right. There's something not right there.
I want to believe the Rams are going to take the playoff spot from them. I really do. And I think I could see it happening. The problem is, like you said, I can absolutely see the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. They're still winning. After kind of a rough start, they're just not covering, that's why I'm down on them. They have a bye week this week, so maybe they kind of turn things around that bye week. I still think Pete Carroll is an absolutely fantastic coach. And then they have a home game against the Cardinals, and if they win that, I guess our tune will completely change. But they're not that top five them versus Packers NFC Championship lock that I've been looking at all year, and I think you're pretty close to that too.
No, I agree. Last week I was saying I couldn't see. There was only 3 teams I could see, and there's still only 3 I can see going to the NFC Championship. Well, here's the
thing: if the Packers played the Seahawks, how confident are you that the Packers receivers can get open after what we saw against the Broncos?
No, I'm not, honestly. That's the Packers' kryptonite, right? Denver really was unbelievable. That is the most remarkable showing I've seen all year. Best played game I've seen all year, honestly, was Denver against Green Bay. Single best performance on both sides of the ball. All night they controlled the ball on offense. They held Rodgers to under 100 yards. Does that even happen? What happened there?
That was a nightmare. I cannot imagine. I don't understand what happened.
And I don't know. Again, I don't know if you watched it all, but
the only time I did watch, there's just nobody open on the field, and he's buying time in the pocket, doing all the normal Rodgers stuff, and I'm ready for him to sling it long, to someone wide open because that's what Rodgers does, and it was just no, it's not happening.
No, and I think it's Al Michaels. No, it wasn't Al Michaels. It was Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels, right, doing the game.
Yeah.
And they said, Rodgers just never hit his first look. And it's not that you should hit your first look all the time, but at some point you want to hit your first look, especially if you're Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah, because you're going to trust his decision making.
Yeah, and he never did because they weren't getting open. The Denver secondary is unbelievable. They're locked in right now. That team is scary. I think if anything, the most marked change between last week and this week and how I view teams is how I view Denver. Denver is honestly legit. I had speculated this not on I don't know if I did on the podcast, but I did off the podcast with other people on the stream that I thought that Manning would come out and he would start Omahaing again after the bye week because they had 2 weeks to prepare, and I thought Kubiak may turn it back over to Manning and let him be Manning again, where he controls the game at the line of scrimmage, which is what he does best. That's his best attribute. And the first 6 games of the year, he didn't do that, right? He was just hiking the ball. He wasn't audibling. If you watch the game Sunday night, he was Omahaing, he was audibling, he was doing everything like Manning always did, and he looked.
Anytime great. I had the sound on, I feel like they just have a microphone just for the Omaha. It was crazy. It's I feel like Manning told NBC, it's yo, I'm going to be Omahaing again, Probably to get some Omaha Steak sponsorship. Like, Omaha Steaks are so good.
That's awesome. How do you like his nationwide commercials?
I mean, I like the whole. People get all mad about it, which is so weird. Like, I'll go on like Twitter and people are like, "Oh, I hate Peyton Manning," and like, Jim, JQH hates Peyton Manning. And it's like, I mean, he's pretty funny. He makes me laugh, that's for sure. And he's got connections to Duke coach Cutcliffe. But I don't want to talk about Duke football ever.
Oh yeah, how about that, dude? How about the 8
How about not that? How about not that? Anything but that.
All right, fine. I thought it would be a topic worth talking about, but I won't go there.
It is. I just don't understand why they don't just give them the win. They admitted that the player's knee was down when the clock was at 0.
Yeah,
that's the one time in any scenario where you can just be like, oh, the game's over, the other team won. But they don't want to set like a precedence, which I'm all for. When we get in fantasy arguments in our really competitive league, I constantly am talking about precedent. But like that one, I don't. Maybe I'm biased and I don't see the other side of it, but it could affect an ACC championship, and that pisses me off. They'll probably lose to UNC this weekend anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I hate when they admit the call was wrong, and it has such a big impact that you don't even realize it unless you're a fan, right? Like you're saying of Duke, I knew that the call was bad and impacted the loss. Now that you're talking, though, I didn't realize this may impact literally Duke's chances of winning the AFC or ACC. What I don't even know what side they're on.
They're in the Coastal.
Yeah, ACC Coastal, right? I mean, this literally impacts it because these refs blew it, and then they suspend the refs. That's how they admit that they ruined it, right? I wish they could go back and say, look, they ruined it so bad, they lost the game. Miami lost.
The two worst things that came out of it is, one, I had to have Mike Pereira talking on a Saturday. Like, I already hate him on Sundays when they're like, oh, Mike Pereira, tell us what went wrong on this review. Or like, what do you think about this review? And he's like always wrong. He has like no idea what he's talking about. He probably sits in his home and does those and gets paid a crap ton of money just to talk out of his ass. And then the second part that I hated that come out of it is the ACC named the special team player of the week as the guy who scored that touchdown. So they admitted that the play was wrong and the guy shouldn't have scored the touchdown. And then they gave him special teams player of the week for a play that shouldn't have counted.
Are you serious? Yeah. I didn't know that. That's wild.
Well, only I would know that because I'm looking at Duke Twitter all day waiting for them to say that the game is, overturned. I want them to do that. Like, what's that protest thing they do in baseball?
Well, I've never seen it overturned. I don't know, honestly. I mean, they'll protest.
Like, it's like a weird thing, like a guy has to go stand on the field and make the letter P. Like the umpire has to do that in baseball. It's some like one of those like old rules that like in the ocean has for pirates and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really bad. And, it honestly brings me back to the NFL a little bit here.
Yeah, please do.
Why pass interference? Some of these subjective calls need to be reviewable, flat out. I mean, you can't not make them reviewable because they impact.
Do you remember the old Maddens when you used to be able to do that?
No, yeah, 100%, and they'd overturn it.
It was like an automatic overturn.
Yeah,
I feel like I beat my brother. Like, we broke like probably 15 controllers over that rule. It was the greatest. How could you not want to see that every Sunday? Especially like PI. Like, I think there was a really bad one this week. Well, there was that one the Chargers guy did, but he absolutely did pass interference. So,
by the way, is Keenan Allen really out for the year?
Lacerated lung or kidney or whatever. Yeah, he's out.
Wow, that's the Chargers have had the worst luck of any team
Damn,
in
bad.
the
They have the
NFL.
opposite of the Phoenix Suns training staff. Even though there's obviously nothing you can do about that.
No, they seriously have had the worst luck of any team in the NFL this whole year. They've had if you watch the last game, they had 5 offensive linemen out.
That was last year too.
No, it was. They constantly have had people out, and you know what? They've constantly actually been 9-7, which I think we all forget how good Philip Rivers is, and we all give him shit because he's not very likable. But
his throwing motion is like San Diego Chargers fans can't stand watching him play.
No, but
even though he's good.
No, he's a very good player, and people like him, and he's really good, and they're a good team, and if they're healthy, they're really good. But you know what? They just haven't been healthy. They haven't been right, and this year is going to suck for them because they have too many injuries, I think, to overcome. I mean, you lose Keenan Allen. Melvin Gordon is just not who they hoped he was going to be. Rivers can't do anything when he's getting blitzed by, he's got second string linemen all across his front for the most part, I think, except for one guy. I think he has one starter on the line, and then the rest are all backups. I think that some of the guys that they have starting for them weren't even on their active roster to start the year on the O-line. I might be wrong there.
That's crazy.
But
I wouldn't doubt it. It was I remember last year they're down to their fourth center, something absolutely ludicrous. And then on all my early posts this year about the Chargers, I'm like, well, there's no way they can lose their whole offensive line again. And then by week 3, it's 3/5 are gone and the backup's gone. It's terrible.
It's really crazy, man. And then they lose Keenan Allen, and Gaze was out for the first 4 games. I mean, oh man, what a blow! You can't overcome it. You really.
Monte Teo, I think he's still getting over that relationship.
He's still hurt, and he's actually a pretty good player.
Nah, if you don't consider pass coverage as a part of a linebacker's duties, then yeah, sure, he's good.
He's not a bad player. He's a serviceable NFL starting linebacker.
That's very true. Yeah, he's more high profile because of his history, but yeah, you're right. He is a completely serviceable linebacker.
You take him over.
There's much worse out there.
Exactly. And their DBs are terrible this year, but they're also on their 3rd and 4th DB. They're just in a terrible spot. And they actually almost won against the Ravens at Baltimore.
It's a hard place to win, but the Ravens are terrible. There were so many injuries this weekend. It was lacerated kidney, or I think that's what it was. Lacerated kidney, spleen? I don't know. Whatever, one of those organs. And then, Bell's injury, I didn't see it when it happened. I saw it later. That was horrible. The injuries were physical shit.
No, I know. Well, so who went out this week? This week was Forte is out for the year, correct?
2 weeks. No, Forte is out 2 weeks.
He's only out 2 weeks. So they speculate at one point he's out for the year. Bell went out for the year. Steve Smith, which is terrible, went out for the year, and literally he went out for his career.
Yeah,
which is terrible. At least he got into the top 10 receivers, which I think brings up something worth talking about. When he broke into the top 10, they showed the top 10, and they were all between 14 and 15,000. Then Jerry Rice at 22,000 yards or something like that. It was unbelievable how good Jerry Rice was. But man, it's just
every time I see his numbers, it's absurd.
This year, we all talk about drafting RB1s in fantasy, and that's how you win. That's how you roll. And this year has just not been the year for that, because so far this year, as much I can tell, Lacey's been terrible. He's also been injured / just ineffective.
I think, what's his name? Starks might be better.
I don't know.
I don't believe that. He's got to be hurt. But
No, I
still.
think he is hurt. He looked better again in the Denver game, I think, than Starks did, even though Starks got a lot of touches. Charles is out for the year. Bell's out for the year. Forte is now out for a few weeks. Lynch has been banged up all year. It's just not been the year of the running back, you know.
Hyde's
AP
hurt. Reggie
hot
Bush tore his ACL.
on
I mean, these
top
aren't
of
even like good running backs. It's just like it's just a constant stream.
Chris Ivory's banged up now, you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
like it's just hard. I think this is
I mean, okay, Adrian Peterson. We're going to go healthy only. Healthy players only. Let's try to name the top 5 running back. AP number 1.
yeah, Devontae
Todd
Freeman.
Gurley number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Devontae Freeman number 3. And I mean, Chris Ivory still.
Yeah, probably. You still maybe throw Lynch in there, because he is healthy now.
That's
But
true.
he's banged up, man. He's banged up all over the place, and he hasn't played all. Who knows when he's going to go out? He's got injuries all over his body. Um, yeah,
After that, is it muscle hamster?
I think so, but you can't call him that, right?
No, we can't call him that. But okay, after that, it's either like muscle hamster, Lamar Miller, I guess.
Who was terrible until recently.
He had one good game. And
Yeah,
honestly, D'Angelo Williams and Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson's been unbelievable.
Yeah, Chris Johnson actually should be in the top 5. It's unfair that I discount him based on historical when he's just absolutely crushing it this year.
No, he is crushing it.
I just thought he was, he's done, and I'm like ready for him to be done, but he's not. He's killing it. So
He's in a good situation. Gurley's been phenomenal.
yeah, Gurley is definitely number 2. I mean, I like to bring up that whole like advanced stats. People are like, oh well, if you take away his big runs, he's only getting 2 yards per carry. And it's like, yeah, but he breaks a big run every game, so who gives a shit? Like, I guess you regress to the mean at some point, but sometimes guys are just better and they break big runs.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, it's very interesting that you and I both agree, and I think a lot of people do, that AP and Gurley are clearly the top 2 when we watch games. Like when you watch them play, I would rather have AP and Gurley over anyone. And like AP is one of the least liked advanced stats rushers, and so is Gurley.
And they play each other this week.
No, I know they do. It'll be interesting to see how they do. I mean, those 2 teams. By the way,
the Vikings team has been calling Gurley mini AP actually this week. They said we got the better version, but he's definitely like a mini AP. Like he is like very, very much like him, like deceptively fast. When you actually get up close to him, he's freaking huge. Like it's really funny, like how they're describing it. It was Captain Munnerlin. I just want to say that name.
What a great name, by the way, for an NFL player.
Freaking fantastic name.
And how about Minnesota is still that team that to me, I think I've missed on all year. I think they're going to end up in the playoffs. I really do. I mean, I've been doubting them all year. I pick against them all the time. I don't really like them as a team. And then they just keep winning. They always win.
Their schedule gets tough from here on out.
I know it does. But
because they got to play the Lions and twice. And I think they got the Bears.
So sure.
They've already gotten the Bears once.
Let's talk about.
They have to play the Packers twice, Seahawks, Cardinals, Giants, even at Falcons, at Raiders, and versus the Rams. Those are all. They might not win many more games.
Yeah, no.
I like them a lot, though. I like them a lot. But Teddy Bridgewater, he's still a few years away if he's anything.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of the Vikings. But I keep doubting them, and I keep betting against them, and I keep picking against them. Although I did pick with them last week, and they covered.
I was pissed. I thought you would for sure be like, just give it one last go of hating them.
Well, I mean, they
Because
played.
picking Chicago, which no one did, I was actually kind of shocked. Because Chicago's, I mean, they're bad, but they're not like
No, they're pretty bad.
they're bad.
They're bad, dude. They're really bad. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I could still see the Falcons maybe falling out of the playoff.
I could too
So,
now. Now that last week on our podcast, we had a pretty well set NFC playoffs.
and it all changed.
It did from 1 week.
Yeah.
Now we doubt.
I mean, the Raiders are the Raiders back in?
You can't count them out at this point.
If Geno Smith is playing significant snaps for the Jets, I think we can count them fucking out.
Yeah, 100%. He is terrible.
He is so bad. I was trying to get on the money line. I had plus 180 live bet fucking queued up. I was clicking as fast as I could on the live bet, and that damn website was faster than me. I didn't get it. It was a lock of the century. It was right when the possession, as soon as I saw that Fitzpatrick had gone down, and it seemed like a big enough thing that he couldn't play, it was plus 170, and I just couldn't get it in time.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, the playoff picture has changed completely because I'm not convinced Seattle, and as we talked last week, Seattle has not an easy schedule the rest of the way. The Rams have a much more favorable schedule going forward.
It's possible they both make it, though.
It is, but it's also possible the Vikings make it, and it's just crazy how the NFL can change overnight.
I was confused how certain you were on some things last week because it's the NFL. I mean, shit happens.
Yeah, I mean, I still do believe
the Falcons do have a really easy schedule left, though.
Yeah, but they lost to the Buccaneers
at home, so they have to play the Bucs away now.
And they just barely beat Tennessee. I mean, I'm not so certain. As we mentioned last week, when you start 6-0, or when you have 6 wins in your first 7 weeks, it's hard not to make the playoffs because just mathematically, right? You have to.
Especially when you have at the 49ers against Blaine Gabbert this week.
Yeah, what? Actually, let's talk about that for a second. What happens to Cap? Do they try to trade him?
I don't hate Cap. I mean, he can handle a blitz, but I also think he's gotten he was thrown in the fire and he did awesome, and now he's kind of regressed to the mean. But he's better than a lot of other guys out there. He's got the physical tools, and
I still believe he'd be
call the right fucking plays.
I still think he'd be great in Philly.
Okay, so here's the thing. So the Titans, by the way, I just saw this. I didn't know if you know this. The Colts fired their offensive coordinator. So in lieu of
Pep Hamilton?
Yeah.
Did they? I did not know that. No.
Rod Chudzinski is their new offensive coordinator. Pep Hamilton is the scapegoat for their 3 and 5 star.
Which is I mean, what's going to happen? It's amazing. They're 3 and 5, and they're tied for first.
I know. Well, so maybe now they'll probably win a bunch of games. They'll blame it on that guy, and it will be bullshit or whatever. So that happened. But so Tennessee fired their coach, and instantly the rumors started today of Chip Kelly's going to trade himself, since he's also the GM, trade himself from the Eagles to the Titans to be with Mariota. I mean, it's not a real rumor. It's just people having fun with it. But I think it'd be awesome if Chip Kelly was like, I'll give you guys a 7th rounder for myself.
No, I'll take a 7th rounder for myself.
No, because he's currently the Eagles GM. So he's like, as the Eagles GM, I will trade you. I'll give you a 7th rounder for Chip Kelly to coach.
Right. No, I mean,
and then sign the paperwork, let it happen, and hopefully no one notices until after the fact. Hey, once the papers are signed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
obviously you can't do that, but I'm wondering if, like, him at Tennessee, it'd be silly. But more interesting, I would like to see, okay, so Cap or RG3, well, I guess the trade deadline's over, or it's over in like 10 minutes, to the Eagles.
I think the trade deadline is over.
Yeah, I think it is. But Cap or would you say the Eagles would be better with Cap or better with RG3?
I think with Cap. I don't think RG3 is a legitimate NFL quarterback. I think Cap is better than RG3. I think that the Eagles would be better off with Cap.
Are they both better than Bradford?
No, I don't think Cap. I don't think Bradford is. I think Cap is. Yes. And I think in that offense, I think Cap is way better than Bradford is. But I don't think RG3 is better.
I'm probably like the last person on RG3 Island. The thing is I don't. He seems like a piece of shit because his whole team hates him and all that shit. But I just remember I only saw him his rookie year pretty much, and he was pretty awesome. It's hard to be awesome in this league.
I don't think it was a fluke that he was good. I think
that organization sucks.
It does, but they're actually not a bad team.
They're not. They still might make the playoffs somehow.
No, they can't. This NFL this year, I think it's separated by tiers more than in past years where you have the elites. Like, to me, in the AFC, there's only like 3 teams that you can see coming out of the AFC. And there's only like 3 teams you can see coming out of the NFC. And one of them may not even make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? Oh. I mean, like, if the Rams came out of the NFC, how shocked would you be? I'd be pretty shocked, but it's feasible.
I wouldn't be that shocked. I think their defense is very, very legit.
I do too, but man.
And I mean, obviously I'm biased because I love Nick Foles. But I mean, we just said that they have the second best running back in the game. They have I don't know how good their line is, to be honest. I have no idea if it's good or bad. Let's just say it's average. They have Foles can make a throw when necessary. I mean, like you've seen the Ravens win with who was the Ravens quarterback when Ray Lewis?
Flacco.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, Dilfer, and then there was like Brad Johnson won that. Like Foles is just as good as something like that, and they have an awesome defense. I don't think they'll beat whoever the AFC would put out in that scenario, but I wouldn't be completely shocked. Because let's see, if they got in, their first round would be against.
This is assuming they don't win the division. Assuming Arizona wins the division, right?
Assuming Arizona wins the division, and like the Panthers and say the Packers get the bye week, right?
Yeah.
They could play the Falcons in the first round. I could see them beating the Falcons. What if they got the Falcons and then the Panthers?
They won't play the Falcons though, because the division winners play the wild cards, and those 2 teams would be.
Okay, so Panthers. So they'd play the Panthers.
No, the Panthers and the Packers would have byes.
Oh, that's right.
And then,
depending on their record, they could be paying. So the Falcons. Let's say they're the second wild card, and the Rams are the first wild card. And based off, then you could see the Rams playing the Giants or the Eagles or the Cowboys, whoever comes out of the NFC East. That they can absolutely win that game. And then
No,
they're
they
one game
could.
away
You're
from the
right.
Super Bowl.
I know.
And then they can beat like what? No, they'd be 2 games of the Super Bowl. Huh? Yeah,
I'll tell you what was a blow.
it'd be tough, but
For the domes, for especially you and I, which we've been on the same page on 2 teams, I think, of Seattle and Pitt. I mean, Bell going out for Pitt was huge.
oh, especially right when Big Ben came back too, and that was like my total game. Right, I just hate Cincinnati all season. Everything was going right, and then similar to like when you were saying with the Chiefs with Jamal Charles when he went down, it just like took the air out of him. And like as soon as Bell went down, it was just like, oh.
Yeah, how about the Chiefs, by the way, though? They've come back strong lately.
I asked you about them last week because I think they suck, but you were on them until obviously the Charles injury, but then you were thinking, they're still a good team, and I don't know. I don't think they're a good team.
No, I don't either. I mean, I think this year's the year where there's like 4 or 5 dominant teams, and then there's the rest of the league competing, and then there's some really, really bad teams. I mean, I think there's a separation. When you get out like in the AFC, it's going to be Denver, New England, Cleveland. I still wouldn't doubt if Pittsburgh snuck in there.
Did you just say Cleveland? Did I hear you wrong?
No, yeah, you did hear. No, you didn't hear me wrong. I said it wrong. Cincinnati. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Wait, did I miss something?
Yeah,
Are you that excited about Johnny Manziel getting the start this week?
I am pretty excited about that actually because
I'm of course excited, but he's a woman beater. I'm out.
I'm out too. I mean, a guy's hitting his girlfriend's head against the window. What an asshole!
How is he getting away with this?
Especially being Johnny Football, right? I mean, of all people.
Yeah, it's just like the one time that like we're not talking about Johnny Football nonstop, like he's like a Tim Tebow, is when he hits a woman, possibly. I mean, I know it's allegedly, but who, if he didn't hit her, who did? If they're on the side of the road, I mean, it's just weird.
There was like eyewitnesses that he had her head against the window. It's like, screw this guy.
It's just ridiculous.
He's just kind of a punk ass, honestly, I've always given him the benefit of the doubt because he's really fun to watch. But what a punk ass! I mean,
well, a lot of them, it's like, oh, he was drinking. I was like, well, I was drinking when I was in college too. Like, I was making dumb decisions and all that. But it's like, well, you can't do that when you're a quarterback in school. And it's like, no, you even more so do it then because you get away with it. But now it's just like, all right, you had to go like rehab like a year ago, or in like now you're able to get away with it. Like it was like he had been drinking, he had been hitting his girlfriend, he got the cops came. It's just like, and then it's just like, oh, whatever, he can play this week. It sounded like it's something that would happen in Texas, to be honest. No, or a high school Texas quarterback.
But listen, we've all been drinking before, but I've never thrown my wife Leah against a window with my hand. Like, and you've never thrown your girlfriend Chloe against the window with your hand. I mean,
no,
like what a dickhead,
I would take like every 1,000 a punch. Like you don't hit a girl, you never do. It's just
it's the line you don't cross.
Things can get crazy, but you don't. It's it's a disgrace.
It really is.
Who's he playing Thursday? The Bengals. Oh God, the Bengals. I want the Bengals to lose. Screw you, Manziel.
I do too, but you know what? The Bengals keep winning.
No, I know that, and you know what? They're coming back and winning games late, which is like the exact reason why I bet against them. I expect them to fall apart when the going gets tough or whatever, and they're showing the exact opposite. I'm completely wrong on it. It sucks. I feel like I'm still gonna be happy in the playoffs when they blow it, but I've picked against them so many. I bet Pittsburgh again this week. Felt great. Lost.
Here's what's going to happen, I think, with the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to either get the bye, although I think actually Denver and New England will end up with the byes because I think they're the two best teams. And I think Cincinnati loses their first playoff game again. I honestly think they lose
God,
the
that'd
first
be
playoff
awesome.
game. Yeah.
And
I would.
it's not like crazy to believe. I mean, what's crazy is who is yeah. So you're saying you think they'll get the bye over Denver?
No. I don't think they will. I
Oh,
think
okay.
that Denver and New
Oh,
England
you
will
think
get the
they'll lose
bye.
in the wild card game?
Yeah, I think they'll lose in the wild card game to someone that we don't even expect because that's just how they do it. It's like,
Who would it would be the Raiders, the Jets, or the Bills?
oh my God, how awesome would it be if they lost the friggin' Raiders?
Oh my God, I would love it. I keep saying I'm not going to be a Raiders fan, but I think that would make me be a Raiders fan if they came to LA. If they beat
Yeah,
Dolphin and moved to LA, I'd be like, all right, I can deal with the shitty fans. I can do it.
yeah, like that's. I keep doubting the Raiders. I keep missing on the Raiders. I've bet against the Raiders every week, and oh man, they just keep doing
They're
it.
still not that good, but like they definitely have. Amari Cooper's really good. I keep watching him because I have him on a fantasy team, a losing fantasy team. But holy shit, he's really good,
Well, and
and he's not big.
Derek Carr is a really good player too.
I mean, he's got a good arm.
Mm-hmm.
He's hit or miss at times, but they got some legit guys. And that Khalil Mack is awesome. They've drafted well. That's what's weird.
No, they really have.
But we're okay. We're getting close to the end. We're at the end here. We're up against the end, and there's something we missed last week. I promise we're going to get to this week, and we got to get to it. We can't keep ignoring what the Panthers are doing and what Cam Newton's freaking doing. Talk to me about Cam Newton.
As I mentioned previously, and I'm going to repeat myself, Cam does things differently than anyone, and he's underrated. He's a phenomenal player. He has no one. He's starting to tag in Greg Olsen, Philly Brown, and he's winning games. And he's unbelievable. He's an absolutely unbelievable player.
When you say he's underrated, would you say who would you say was underrating him?
I think that we all were. I think everyone in the world was.
Well,
I think he's
everyone in the world.
No, I except for maybe
big statement right there.
No,
you are alienating every one of the listeners of our podcast. That is
fine, minus the Panther fans and the Panther brass, right? The Panther ownership, because I think
it's like I don't talk about Cam Newton constantly.
No, I know, but Cam Newton's the top.
I love Cam Newton. You're alienating me, and I have for a long time.
Listen,
I went on a rant that people have him where they have him because he's black. I've done it many times. To a fault.
And listen, I agree, but when I say underrated, I say it in a sense where
someone you have like tier 8 in your QB manifesto underrated.
Way underrated. I mean, Cam Newton's like he's become
below Joe Flacco, Tony Romo, and Eli Manning. Sorry, I had to bring it up.
What? And he's jumped all of them. I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
And in your defense, you even said that it's based on the. Oh, I'm gonna do a little throwback here. It's based on the trick or treat of Cam, based on like sometimes he's really bad, and then like he started to start looking really good last year, but then he'd make bad decisions, kind of on the field. He was hard to really rate last year. I'll agree with you there.
I think that Cam, as a whole, has been an underrated player. I think he's one of the top 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks in the NFL. Which is saying a lot. I mean, I think that
currently, I would say he's MVP.
Well, right now, yeah, but
don't fuck with Tom. I mean, I don't want to.
But you wouldn't take him over.
He's like the LeBron where you don't give him the MVP because it's just kind of like given.
Yeah, but you wouldn't take Cam over. I mean, you wouldn't take Cam to win this year. You wouldn't take Cam over Brady, Manning,
I'd take him over Manning right now.
No, it's hard.
Manning has Emmanuel Sanders. He has Demaryius Thomas. He has good running backs, and he has the best defense in the league. I 100% would make that trade for future, for tonight, tomorrow. Like absolutely, Rodgers and Brady is the only person personally I would not trade Cam Newton for.
Cam Newton's really good.
Can you imagine with the Broncos team? He would just run the ball when he would just throw it up to his two receivers and then just run the ball and just like win every game like 20-0.
No, he is.
He doesn't do anything like crazy. He just wins games. That's another thing.
No, he does, and he does it in a different way than anyone can. Dude, he's what is he? Are they 7-0, 8-0 right now? 7-0, right?
7-0.
7-0, and he has Philly Brown is his number 2 receiver. Ted Ginn's his number 1 receiver.
How about Ted Ginn's drop last night in overtime?
I know. And he's got Greg Olsen as his. Greg Olsen is a great tight end.
Greg Olsen's awesome. No, he's absolutely awesome.
Very underrated tight end.
And the Panthers defense is really good. I mean, they're not just 7-0 because of Cam Newton, but he's obviously a massive part.
No, but they're like a good 7-0 too. I mean, they beat
their first like 4 or 5 games were good. Like they somehow faced a backup quarterback in like every game, and the whole narrative that I was even into was like, who have they played? Who have they played? But, I mean, the past few weeks, like they're a good football team, and especially like Kuechly back, like you see how much of a difference he makes. They're a good team.
They are. I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs. I'll tell you that much.
What's the receiver they have that got hurt in the beginning of the year?
Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah. What was his injury?
Torn ACL.
Is there any possibility it was early enough that he could be back for a playoff?
No, not that I understand. No.
God, that would be so sweet.
It would, but he tore it in the preseason, so he'd be back in like.
Yeah, it wasn't like yeah. It was in August, I think. So that would be like at best, he'd be ready in March. Like, Adrian Peterson had like the best recovery of all time. And I think that was even like 6 months.
Well, it's Adrian Peterson, and
yeah, exactly. I mean, when everyone was like, he did roid to come back,
and he probably did, but yeah, no, I mean, Cam has just been. Cam's the story of the year to me. He's phenomenal, and we should all appreciate what he does.
He got hit by a car last year.
He did. Yeah. He got hit by a car. And,
like, you cannot stop him.
He's awesome, honestly. He flat out is awesome.
And he's got the best like touchdown dance in the league right now.
What, just running the ball into the stands?
No, he's got the Superman.
Well, of course, Superman, but then he runs. Even if his receiver catches the ball, he gets the ball and runs it in the stands and gives it to someone. You know, he's all about. He's a showman.
Off the field, he's awesome. He does a bunch of like random stuff with charities. I don't know if he just has a good publicist, and I just happen to see all of them. JQH pointed out one of his posts early in the year. Like he does some awesome stuff. I really like him. I wouldn't doubt that I see a lot of the stuff he does too, because Duke fans are Carolina NFL fans.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I'm big on Cam.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he really is.
Well, you got anything else in the NFL this week?
No, I mean, the biggest thing to me, biggest story of the week to me was Denver. Denver looked absolutely.
And you know what? I do have to point out, you in your power rankings, you had them high, and I thought you were high. I thought that was crazy. But I mean, that defense is incredible, and obviously you can't count out Peyton Manning. Like you were telling me before the game, I didn't watch much of that game, but looking at his numbers and just seeing that he was back, that's terrifying. That would be. That AFC Championship could be really fucking awesome. I might not watch the Super Bowl.
I know. I mean, the Broncos and Patriots do play this year, by the way. They play in Denver. Be a very interesting game to see. I think that the Patriots are still the team to beat in the whole NFL.
I don't disagree, but that offensive line stuff is starting to get pretty worrisome.
No, it is. But the thing is, Tom gets the ball out so quickly that I don't know if it matters.
Can he get it out that quickly against a deep? I mean, we also didn't think that Aaron Rodgers would throw under 100 yards ever.
No, I didn't either. And I have to say, there's something I stopped one of the plays in the Packers Denver game, and now obviously there wasn't a lot of highlights for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, as we like to refer to him as.
Aaron.
But he literally was getting rushed at one point on his back foot, flicked the ball like 60 yards. I'm like, whoa. Did he really just do that? I mean, Aaron Rodgers has got the physical tools that no one else in the NFL has. But I
feel like he is like the greatest quarterback of all time, in a way, like just maybe physically. He's insane. He does things that literally I've never seen done.
No, I agree. I mean, the guy is, oh man, he is so good. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's between New England and Green Bay. I still do. I still think that's who it ends up being. I think New England can overcome Denver, and who's going to beat the Patriot or the Packers out west or in the NFC? Maybe Arizona, but
I mean, I think we're just not sure on Arizona. It's crazy to think that Palmer would be healthy for 16 games and then a playoff.
It'd be a travesty if he wasn't, though. I mean, it'd be really nice to see
him
really healthy all year because
I think that would be
really good.
As long as he stays healthy. That's a freaking game right there. And I mean, if Lacey doesn't really ever show up, which I think he will, I think that's going to be the thing that's really going to lock it in for them. But if Lacey doesn't show up, and it's not like their, receivers are going to show up more than they can, it's possible to shut them down.
No, I'll tell you right now, I've owned Aaron in a fantasy league for 2 years now, and he's been shut down twice. Once was by Seattle last year, and obviously Denver.
Was that when he was on one leg too?
Well, no.
How about he still crushed last year on one leg?
Yeah, no, he's unbelievable. I mean, oh man, he is a treat to watch.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get shut down very often, and their defense is really good too. They actually that game was shocking to me. I couldn't believe it went the way it did. I mean, they got freaking owned. That to me was just I think it was just a 1 week thing. I think it was, hey, Denver played their ass off and they won and they dominated. But oh man, it's hard to discredit what Denver did. I mean, that was the best performance I've seen all year. Best, honestly. And I'm a huge Patriots fan, but that was the best game I've seen played all year by a team.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. Obviously, I mean, they shut down what is the best quarterback in the game, because I would consider him tied with Brady. It's just one of those things where it just might have been a bad day for the Packers. I don't think it was completely that. I think the Broncos obviously caused it. It doesn't really change anything the way I think about the Packers.
No, me either. I agree.
It just makes me think that the Broncos, I had them 6 or 7, and I'm wrong. They're better than that. And it's just like next week I could see like the Broncos losing a game that they should win or something, but it doesn't matter. It's starting to get to that point where if you're what are they 7-0? If you're 7-0, you're gearing up for the playoffs, hopefully.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, like we've all mentioned, if you're 7-0, you have to go 5-4 to go 12-6. No, you have to go 5-6 on let's think 5-4 to go 12-4. Right?
Into the Dome podcast, where math is not done.
No, where you have to go 5-4 to go 12-4, which 12-4 is going to get you the number 2 seed in the NFL or the AFC, unless the Bengals go crazy, keep going crazy, which they may.
Denver gets to play the Chargers twice, and the Chiefs, and the Bears.
Yeah, but mind you, they do have to play at Arrowhead, which is not ever an easy game, no matter what.
No, they already played Arrowhead.
Well, you just said they play them twice, and you're right.
No,
they did play at Arrowhead. They
get to play the Chargers twice, and the Chargers don't have a home field. I don't know if you know this. It's a fact about the NFL. They actually don't have a home field. Their best home field is probably London.
Yeah.
Same with the Jaguars, actually.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I mean, yeah. No, that's a good point. The Broncos are a team to be reckoned with, I think, going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
it was their week.
They dominated this week. Them and Carolina. Again.
I know. Well, Carolina gets to host the Packers next week. The Packers coming off a big loss. I'll be excited to watch that game.
Well, I will be too. How about the Packers? They have a tough schedule, right? I mean, they've already beat Seattle at home. They had to play at Denver. Now are they playing at home or at Carolina?
At Carolina.
Wow, that's a tough game.
They still get the Lions twice. They get the Bears.
Oh no, they'll be fine. They're going to be fine.
What I'm saying, well, you said they had a tough schedule. I wouldn't. They have some very big games left, I'll say. So, like at Cardinals, at Panthers, those are, potential. Wow, I mean, I guess crazy, but those are potential, NFC championship games.
Right, and they're on the road for all of them, or for two of them,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they win them both, honestly.
I mean, they're going to lose both Lions games, obviously.
Of course, right? I mean,
and
the
Bob
Lions
Cooter is just getting into his wheelhouse after London.
Well, I mean, after he crushed like some British Putang.
Oh yeah.
Jim Bob Cooter, man.
I hope the Lions are never allowed to play again.
What a name! By the way,
it's a good name.
There's no way Caldwell makes it after this year, right?
I can't. He needs to be. So with all these like firings that are happening, I just like who is anybody gonna hire? There's no one left. If everyone fires someone every year, like that means you're only gonna hire another shitty coach.
That's the thing about the NFL. That's why some guys stick around so long. That's
and
why
a bunch of guys are getting fired. It's just getting crazy.
No, it is, but
Chip Kelly might lose his job in a year if he doesn't turn it around. And
I don't think Chip Kelly gets fired this year. I don't think there's any way.
It wouldn't make any sense to fire him this year.
No, I don't think so.
But if he has bad this year and then next year too, I mean, he could still make the playoffs this year. In fact, I think in that division, I might pick them right now.
No, I would pick them right now. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, but
I like your call on Eli Manning under 2 minutes is like automatic. And the first half in that Saints shootout, he got the ball with like a minute left and he went and scored. And I'm like, man, he really does always score. And it'd be like, I think the only time I feel like I ever see him. It's that or he's throwing like a pick or blowing clock management. He is still really good and lost that game.
No, he was. He was very good in that New Orleans game.
Helps that OBJ, but yeah.
Their defense was terrible in that game. God, what the guy threw for 7 TDs.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, Eagles do have a good defense, so God, they might actually get in the damn. I still think the Cowboys have a chance. Oh man, if they won that game against the Seahawks.
I know how great, or against the Falcons, or how about if the Eagles had won against the Falcons?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're talking about the NFC East is up in the air. It's fun to watch actually because it's so competitive, but yet none of those teams are that great.
But none of them are like that bad either. It's not like the AFC South where they're just like bad football teams.
Oh no, 100% agree. I mean,
but we can't go back to these bad divisions. That is it for the NFL Week 9 podcast. We'll be back next week. Thank you again for listening. Talk to you guys soon.